Hello and welcome to another episode of Tribunal of the Grid, where we talk about all things Power Rangers, including the actors that play them. My name is Brandon.
My name is Lena.
And my name is Will.
And today, y'all, we are going to be talking about, you guessed it, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always, the 30th anniversary. Woo! Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We will be talking about that tonight. I
know.
Go ahead, girl. Tell us what you think, girl.
Long waited. So long. It felt like it was like forever before it finally came out.
No, for real.
And now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sad that like it's over.
Really?
Yeah, because like, I don't know. I wish I seen somewhere online. Someone was like doing a review on it, right? Giving his thoughts and whatever. And he was like, this should have been a mini series. And I was like,
oh wow.
Yeah,
you're right.
I can see that.
You're absolutely
I can see
right.
where someone would say that.
Because, okay, I guess I'm just going to summarize it real quick. Obviously, it's like every single storyline there is. I guess I'm surprised by how fast they solved the problem within a certain time frame. I wish there was more obstacles. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Honestly, like it makes a lot of sense in terms of it did feel like things were done too fast, and that actually would be my biggest gripe about the actual thing itself.
Yeah.
Just in general, like, because I'm honestly, like, I didn't have many problems with this at all. Like,
no.
First of all, before I even start, like, before I even say what I'm going to say, like, hats off to freaking like Simon Bennett, Allendale, and Becca Barnes. Y'all did that shit. Like, you can tell they did their homework. They like it just they did that. Like, I just want to just go ahead and get that out of the way now. Like, y'all killed that shit.
They did,
and. No, for real. Like, they killed that shit. And for anybody that's gonna sit there talking about something, they should have. No, because I'm gonna tell you right now, like, they're like under the time. I don't know if they were like mandated to have 55 minutes or whatever the situation is. Maybe that's something to ask Simon or whatever. But like, apparently they had more script. Like, there were other things in the script, that probably were changed or cut out for other reasons, things of that nature. So, like, who knows? Like, maybe they only had but so much time to do this and was like, okay, we can only fit but so much. So we got to just like trim everything down, because that is script writing. Like, you will write out the whole entire script and then start cutting things.
To be fair, everything that ended up in there was, again, given what we got, I'm like, obviously I know I just finished saying that I would have been nice for an extended little miniature series, but given what we got, it was perfect. It was brilliant. Yeah. It hit all the right notes and it concluded perfectly. But can I expose myself for a second? I remember you said their names in the chat and I remember like, who are these people?
First of all, y'all, Lena had no idea who was writing this show all this time. And like, I'm like, girl, they've been writing this show for 10 years. And she was like, oh, like, girl, where have you been?
I was like, wow. I go, who am I? I'm clearly not a fan.
Which I'm not going to hold you, like, I don't know how you did not know this, because all during like Ninja Steel, oh my God, every 5 minutes they were dragging Allendale and Becca Barnes. Like, if I were them, I would have just deleted my social media during the Ninja Steel season. Like, I would have just deleted my social media, because like the way those two people got dragged by their toenails for dear life, I felt so bad for them. I really did. I felt bad for them, because like they were dragged mercilessly by the fandom. Like, they were just like,
wait, but why?
Dragged.
But why?
Because they were the writers. They were the writers of the
Oh, they
show.
were
And that
writers
season
for
was
Ninja.
horrible.
But that's the thing, though. Like, I don't necessarily think it was it was their fault. Like, it was like,
Yeah, it was mandates and stuff that they
yeah,
had.
they were like, as we've uncovered. What'd you say? Will?
I said there were mandates and restrictions that they had to adhere to.
Right, and what people don't understand is that like this is during the Saban regime, so like this was during their rebrand where they were rebranding the franchise and basically being like, oh, we have to make them sound like 2-year-olds. So yeah, like they were gonna write them from a place of sounding stupid. Like we're not saying that 2-year-olds are stupid, but like they were gonna write them from a place where like they felt like 2-year-olds will be able to comprehend what's going on. Almost kind of like Dora the Explorer. Hi, do you see the house right behind? And you have to point, be like, yeah, I see it. And it's like, where is it? Right behind you. Oh, there's the house. Like, that's how they were writing the show.
The way
like, that's literally how they were writing it.
The way I would curse them out when they would ask those questions when I got a little bit older.
No, for real. Like, I mean, because you like literally the show, like they would literally say the thing out loud instead of just letting the audience just put two and two together. Like, it's so easy, but they would literally say the thing out loud. And it's like, why are you doing this? Like, no one talks like that. But like they caught a lot of heat for their writing. And I was just, and you can tell the difference between who's running the ship and like their voices, because if you notice, like slowly but surely, as the hand of Saban started getting less and less and less, the writing got more and more different. The conversations got more and more different. The dialogue got a little more different. Like things started to change a little bit when the hand of Saban started to lift up. So I'm just saying, I think personally, now that we've gotten to this point, I think it's a little unfair and it's a little sad that we jumped on those two so badly. Because I'm not gonna hold you. They wrote the fuck out of this 30th anniversary. Like they did that. Like, of course, there could be things that could have been different. There's pacing things that, could have been a little better or whatever. But as a whole, to me, this felt like something worth watching. Like this felt like a show. This felt like a special.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just felt like something anyone can enjoy, not just fans of the show. Because I'm not going to hold you. I talked about it on my Facebook. I made a status about it. And so many people commented it who haven't seen the show since the 90s. Like they haven't seen the show at all. And we're just like, I loved it. Like it was fantastic. Like it was great. I loved it. And I'm like, see, this is what we need. This is what we need. Like we need that kind of reaction. Not like the fandom who's always just grouchy about shit, complaining that they're not going to get their Q Ranger suits. Your average person don't know what the fuck a Q Ranger is. Like they don't know. They don't know what the fuck that is. They think if they see anybody in a color-coded spandex outfit, they're gonna think it's a Power Ranger. They're not gonna be like, oh, that's Japanese. They don't give a shit. They think it's Power Ranger. Oh, but like they think it's Power Rangers. They don't give a shit. So that's why I'm just like, it just, for me, like, I think personally, they did their job, and everything about this 30th anniversary was just wow. Like you can tell it was definitely meant for the fans. And I saw a lot of people. I want to ask you guys, we'll get your input on this, but I saw a lot of people talking about the acting and the performances from the veterans. and how people were talking about like, oh, it's so cheesy, it's this, it's that, and the third, blah 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 blah. Like, am I wrong to think like, what did you guys expect?
Yeah.
Like, what did you expect? Did you expect them to all of a sudden turn an Oscar-winning performance all of a sudden? What?
Yeah, it something that I loved about this was it felt like an extended episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like like how Turbo was like a high budget like Power Rangers episode basically. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
So it made sense. I felt like MVP for it was Walter, but Walter could always act, so that wasn't a surprise. Um and I liked I always thought Catherine is really solid. I noticed that before, but I liked her in this too. Um some of the other actors like they haven't acted in a long time, so like they were
And it
rusty. But
shows.
yeah,
And it
so
shows. No shade. Like, it showed. Like, and like I said, this is no shade to anybody. Like, it is what it is. Like, you can tell the ones who hadn't acted in a long time. Like, it was just like, oh, you haven't been in front of the camera in a minute. Like, but that's okay. Like, they still showed up and they did their thing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I still enjoyed it. Like my boy. Like, I love me some Steve. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and Steve, we go way back. Like fat, like flats on a Cadillac. You know what I'm saying? Like, we go way back. I love me some Steve. But man, was some of those deliveries hard. Like, it was like,
and still like
woo!
I love the fact that he was able to still portray Rocky because it felt
Yes.
like him.
It
And
felt like Rocky.
yeah, yeah. So it's like
It was definitely giving MMPR Rocky and not Zeo Rocky,
yeah.
because Zeo Rocky was more polished. But MMPR Rocky, he nailed MMPR Rocky to the fullest, because like that was MMPR Rocky for sure.
Yeah,
The
and like
awkwardness and everything.
yeah, the acting stuff, it's like that was never like the strong suit of of Mighty Morphin. Uh
Ever.
so it's like
Ever.
and that was like a part of the charm. It was it wasn't supposed to
Right.
be get winning any daytime Emmys.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Like, it just boggled my mind that like I was just like, is nostalgia like tripping up a lot of y'all? Because I'm sorry, like, if y'all really actually are sitting there reviewing Mighty Morphin, like if you actually turned on your Netflix right now and went back to Mighty Morphin season 1 and started watching those episodes, you really actually thought those people were giving daytime Emmy winning performances? Fuck out of here. Like, like, no. Like, it was never happening like that. Like, especially season 1. Now, granted, season 3, some of the Amy Jo Johnson acted her ass off on season 3. Like, let's be very clear. Like, Homegirl was already giving you lifetime realness on season 3. Like, Homegirl was preparing herself to be out of there. So every episode that she was giving you, she was like, I'm about to slay that shit. So don't get me wrong. The acting changed as they got along, but season 1, nobody was acting like they were freaking like professionals. like they freaking Viola Davis or something like that. Nobody was acting like that in season 1. Nobody.
Yeah, it was a
So
lot of
I'm
their
just
first
like,
job.
yeah, exactly. Like, it was a lot of them their first job. So it's like, and then like either they did their first job or they're just like freaking martial artists. They were just martial artists with no acting backgrounds whatsoever. So it's like, y'all, like, these people are not, they're not like professional actors that went to Yale. Like, no. So it's just like people are just like, oh, the acting, the acting, the acting. Shut up. Please remember what you're watching. Like, that was the whole charm of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, was the fact that these people just got up there, they did their thing, but the main thing was watching them fight. That was what we loved. We loved hearing Ron Wasserman in the background. 5, 4, 1, dun, 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 5, 4, 1. We love hearing the little guitar riffs and shit with everybody doing spin kicks and freaking cartwheels and backflips. Like, that was the pinnacle of Power Rangers. We didn't give a fuck about their damn acting. We didn't give a shit. So, it's just like, come on, y'all. Like, don't be those people. But I just find it so interesting that it was mainly coming from fans. And I'm just like, once again, going back to that conversation, what are y'all expecting from this show? I just really want to know. What are y'all expecting? It's so odd to me, but whatever.
Well, people be expecting the oddest things, and even when they get it, they'll still be upset. That's what I've learned.
Yes, and honestly, they'll never be able to make anybody happy. Like, not anybody, but they'll never be able to make everybody happy. Like, it's just not possible. Like, somebody's gonna always have an issue with something. I know one of the biggest issues that I wanted to talk about that I didn't find an issue at all, to be honest. Like, I actually thoroughly enjoyed this, which I don't ever enjoy normally. But the Megazord scene, people were talking so much Cash Money shit about the CGI from what I've seen. Like, a lot of people were talking shit about it. And I'm like, I thought that part was probably one of the most fun parts of the special. I enjoy the Megazord team. And I know Will, me and you, we can't stand Megazord battles. I don't know how you felt about it, but me personally, normally I hate Megazord battles. Like, I literally will I'll fast forward through it. Unless something happens where they end up losing a Megazord or they get their asses kicked or something. Then I'm like, oh, I'll watch that. But them just doing standard Megazord fights, I'm like, I don't want to see that shit. Fast forward. I don't want to watch that. I never cared about Megazord fights. But this one, I thoroughly enjoyed. I really liked it.
I did too. I think with the first couple of seasons, I could stomach the Zord battles. It was a little bit later on where it got kind of excessive for me. But this one, yeah, it they probably could have, I don't know, I guess there was a budget. So I mean it could have been better special effects, definitely. But for what it was, I thought it was fun still.
No, I really liked it. It was just so many things about it that were just so charming to me. First of all, going back to the scene where Min stole the little thing that turned her invisible, Alpha was already let me cue up the volcano. If you didn't know, it took me a minute. I had to go back and rewatch it because I was like, y'all already setting up the Zord scene.
I noticed that right away.
I didn't know what the fuck Alpha was talking about at first. I had no idea. I'm like, what the fuck are you queuing up a volcano for? What the fuck are you talking about? But I was like, that's such a weird line. But upon rewatching it, I'm like, oh, you're setting up oh shit. So it's just smart writing like that. Wow, I love you guys. But anyway, just looking at the way they were not throwing together, but they did the Zord scene. I just thought that was just so nostalgic and just so, it, honestly, it made me tear up a little bit. I cried a couple times during this. I'm not going to hold you. I cried a couple times. But it just really warmed my heart to see that freaking um the Zord scene. Cause like first of all, seeing the Tyrannosaurus head rise out of the ground, I'm like, oh, they're doing the thing. They're doing But bitch, I screamed when I saw that saber-tooth tiger leap off that damn cliff. And I was like, wow.
For me, it was
I
just
lost
cool to
it.
see. It was so cool to see that they completely just redid the entire Megazord with Zords summoning, the Zords running together, and then forming the Megazord. And even the music, it was all like an updated version of it. I thought that was really cool. Like scene for scene, note for note.
It's just so good. Like I just I loved it. And like the cockpit was just like it was
Updated, more
updated,
space.
but more space. It didn't feel like they were literally sitting on top of each other. Like, oh, I just loved it. Like, now, granted, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of the gray. Like, just not a fan. Like, I need y'all to just add a little more color. Just a little bit. I understand y'all trying to always do the whole like, oh, great, 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 great. But if they would have had like some electric blue in those lights or something, I think that probably would have been a little bit better. I'm just saying, like, give us a little electric blue or something. But just that white freaking like ceiling lights that look like they belong in call centers. I'm just like, please, please get those lights out of here. I hate it. But overall, like I just like that whole scene was just so cute. It was so good. I enjoyed that so freaking much. Um Now what I wish, honestly, and what I think was a missed opportunity is when they did the slash to kill Snizzard. I appreciate them making the Megazord be all limber and do a little somersault over Snizzard and snap and stab him. I appreciated that, but what would have put the icing on the cake is if it would have landed and did the little slash, the little, they recreated
The
the
finisher.
Zord. Yeah, the Megazord doing
Yeah.
the big slash.
hmm
And then Snizzard like flipping and then like blowing up.
That's what I thought was gonna happen.
I thought that was going to happen too, and I was like, that was such a missed opportunity. Like, if there were anything that I was like, I wish they would have done something, it would have been that, because I was literally sitting there like,
I,
they didn't do the thing.
well, like I'm not a big fan of the Megazord scene. I did enjoy it for what it was. For what it was. Well, I've never been big on Megazord scenes anyway, so it's not like that's a surprise. But
Wow.
I did enjoy it for what it was. I
Verse top gas. Carry
I
on.
I will say this though, like I am surprised that Aisha and Adam's appearances wasn't more than
Yes.
what we're given.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was
Yeah.
really surprised about is like it dawned on me. It took them all of 6 hours to save the world.
Oh
Like,
wow.
Yeah, it did.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
like
you gotta wonder. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh yeah, no, well, like what I was gonna say is like I guess like our whole lives, I've never actually put like obviously we know each episode ends and we're like, oh, like that seems so quick or whatever, right? But I guess like
hmm
I think this kind of falls into like where when I the whole mini series thing, right? Obviously someone mentioned it and I was like, oh my god, like that's kind of brilliant because that's kind of what I was thinking, but didn't put into like couldn't form the thoughts that I was having until someone said it. But like, yeah, it dawned on me. I was like, okay, so you have, Robot Rita, who I'm not gonna lie, she slay this
Oh
1 hour special.
yes. Oh
slay.
yes.
I wanted
Oh
to see more
yes.
of her. I was upset that I didn't get to see more of her. I wanted her to terrorize the Ranger. Like, this is where I wanted the miniseries to come in. I wanted the Rangers to be so fearful for their lives and all that jazz, you know, like it wasn't giving that. And then it dawned on me, it took all of 6 hours to, you know, to save the world because it took literally 6 hours for Adam and Aisha to get there.
Now, I will say, to be fair, I will say this. Yes, unfortunately, it did take 6 hours, but they were after Rita for a year. So we don't really know, like, how we don't know the what they were doing all of that time.
Fair.
Yeah.
Because it was
Fair.
like they Rita been out there for a year, so she could have been like fucking with them the entire time, and you know we just didn't see it. One
Right.
thing that I will say though, and to your point, and I completely think is valid, is that the way that everybody got captured and were saved in 6 hours. Because think about it. Jason, Kimberly, and Tommy, they were captured.
Yeah.
They were literally like earlier on. So
Yeah.
they were probably what, like
One of
the
the
longest
first?
captive. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
like the longest captive people. So like what, they were captured for like maybe like what, give or take 1 or 2 hours,
Yeah.
2, maybe 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
But still, it was only 6 hours.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's just kind of like, well,
The whole
it could have been
8 hour
longer. It
shift.
may have been a little longer. It may be a
They
little
had a
longer
whole
because
8 hour shift.
Well, like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it was like literally like it could have been a little longer.
no, it could have
But
been,
still,
but it was like in a day's work, right? And
it was
like
a day's
like,
work. Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of like that very casual, like in a day's work. Like I was surprised. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Another thought before I forget. I will admit, when it came to the writing this time around, I am so glad that they made the acknowledgement that Kimberly and Tommy are not Kimberly, Kat and Tommy are married. You know, like,
Yes.
I like how they turn, they're like, it must be especially hard for you. But I love how, I'm not gonna lie, I low-key felt like when Kat was delivering this line, she was like low-key laughing. This is just me. This is how I took it. When she's like, nah, I didn't tell JJ nothing because he's coming home tonight.
So you know what? I actually we got a little bit of insight from Kat. I think that shortly after the afternoon after the
Special got
drop.
released, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things she mentioned was that in an earlier draft of the script, her and Kat and Tommy were estranged because he kind of lost himself after Trini died, so they were separated. And the way that she delivered her lines, it looked like she cared, but it wasn't like, oh my God, my husband.
Yeah.
And another thing that I picked up was she talked about getting home to JJ. She didn't really mention anything about Tommy coming.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
But what I was gonna also say was, to add to my earlier thought was like, I liked how when they found the moon layer or the moon palace, and she goes up and she shows that concern. It's like, oh, Tommy, look at you. Like, you know, like that, like typical Kat concern. And I'm like, oh my God, like I love this. I love this for the fact that, you know, we talked about it in like Dimensions and Dangers or whatever, where they act like they're not even married. Well, maybe that was when they were estranged.
Damn, they were estranged for years. Like they were really going through it. Like, shit.
Well, technically not, because they were time traveling.
True, you're right.
You know? I mean, I'm just saying that maybe the time that they took Kat and Tommy out of their timeline was the time that they were estranged. Like, I don't know, I'm just saying.
Well, they weren't really time traveling in that way. They were just skipping dimensions.
Oh,
So
true.
yeah, they were just skipping dimensions.
Right.
But like, I see what you're saying though. Like, it's still like, hey, like
It
I
was
don't know.
giving it was giving way more, and I appreciate it because like it was something we always talked about where they're like, why are they acting like they're not even married at all? Why are they acting like they don't even have a child? Like because remember in Dimensions Day, they never mentioned it about getting home to JJ. There was no concern for JJ. It was just like,
Mhm.
oh, we're safe. Okay, let's just go home now. So I thoroughly
Yeah,
did.
because Tommy left that child at home.
Right, exactly, right? There was no concern. That's exactly my point, right? So I'm thrilled at least like this time around they actually make the acknowledgement that like, um, don't worry, I'm not gonna tell JJ like because his father's coming home, all will be well, like, her being like, I was 1 minute volunteering at JJ school and next minute I'm here. Like I love all that little connection. That was the connection I was
No,
looking for. And then obviously the cast like acknowledge each other, and oh my god, Rocky. I just heated my lunch. Like what the heck?
that was so cute.
Like
That was
I love
so
that.
cute.
So it's just all these little moments where I just absolutely loved it. And I loved how they tie it all together and they explain it so well. And the fact that they already knew they were already on call for this. So it was really nice to see the acknowledgement of the cast member and all that jazz. But I really do wonder how out of all of them, okay, maybe not Billy, because obviously Billy was very much hated by Min at that time, how Zach became the guardian of Min.
That's probably why. That's
True.
probably exactly why.
Mhm.
Like, men was just like, I don't want to talk to you. You got my mama killed. I don't want to talk to you.
Mhm.
Like, because you can tell she definitely had
Mhm.
some animosity towards him. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, nah. She had some things she needed to get off her chest.
And
So that's why,
Yeah,
like, when she blew up on him, it was like, oh,
that
you've been
was
holding that
something
in for a
else.
minute.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
oh man, the way that she blew up on him, and then when he took a moment to like react and take it in, and then she was like, "Yeah, that stings, right?"
Stung, didn't
Wow,
it? I
wow,
was
that
like,
was
ooh.
yeah.
I was like,
And I
girl,
something
damn.
something that I liked, um, the choice that they made with this was, of course, the first scene was the battle where Trini sacrificed herself for Billy. And real quick, oh my God, they had Twee, Amy Jo, and JDF's voices in that fight scene. That was really a pleasant surprise.
Wait, but I wonder how they did it. Did they actually got them to do the voices, or was it like an older clip, or
I
was like,
think they just. I'm
Older
assuming
audio.
that it was just older. Obviously,
Yeah,
Twee,
older audio. Yeah, because
but
definitely couldn't get Twee.
yeah.
oh,
So I,
true,
I don't. I
or like I
was
was thinking
really
like maybe a voice actor who can mimic their voices. I don't know.
No,
no.
like they
I
took the
was
old
really
stuff
confused
from there.
about Austin since he literally laid down vocals like 3 years ago.
I'm gonna tell you right now, like I think I know exactly what's going on. Hasbro was like, we ain't trying to connect ourselves to Jason Geiger because
Ooh.
we I'm gonna call him by his real name, his government. Jason Geiger, they ain't wanted to connect themselves to his ass because they were like, he still got that legal shit going on about him out here allegedly stealing the government's money. And child, they were like, we don't want no parts. Because I
Wait,
don't know whether y'all
there
know
was
this.
there was no Red Ranger?
No, I'm talking about
Yes, there
like,
was, but
yeah,
they didn't use
like
his voice.
they
It
didn't use
was
his voice.
somebody else.
Like that was somebody else completely. The only time
Oh,
that you heard his voice was when he said Tyrannosaurus. Like that was the only
Yeah,
time.
yeah. But
Other than that,
oh,
that was never his voice.
oh.
I totally got off track. But sorry. I loved that I believe it was right after what happened. We had the flashback of Billy trying to resurrect Zordon. That was wild. It gave
That
me
was
Buffy season 6 vibes of Willow resurrecting Buffy. And then in trying to resurrect Zordon, he actually got Rita's spirit, the evil Rita spirit, and then Rita
took over
went into freaking Alpha
Alpha
8
8. Oh my god.
body.
I felt
That
so
was
bad for him.
crazy.
I was like, why
Yeah.
Alpha? Like, he's so innocent. He's done
Yeah, and
nothing wrong in the world.
so I guess just like Alpha 7 and Forever Red had Alpha 5's voice, Alpha 5 is dead. We can just totally
Alpha, no,
assume that
like
at this point.
that's canon. That's canon. Alpha 5 is
Yeah,
dead. Like we might as well make it canon.
yeah,
He's dead. Like he doesn't
yeah.
exist anymore.
So the alpha that we saw in all of the promotional stuff is Alpha 9.
Alpha 9.
And it was so sweet seeing him react to Alpha the story of Alpha 8's death.
My
Well,
predecessor. It's
but
like,
yeah,
oh,
that's something else. Like I loved how they put that flashback in there to explain how we got to where we are.
Yeah.
And it kind of is Billy's fault.
I mean, it is his fault, but it's not. Like, it wasn't his fault.
indirectly.
Like, yeah, he didn't have obviously he didn't like intently like brought Rita back. And to be fair, I don't think he even knew that evil Rita's
Yeah, of course.
energy
Yeah, I
was,
don't believe
that.
I don't
Like,
believe that at all.
I mean, I felt so bad. I was like, oh my god. Like, I totally understand. Like, like, and the thing is, at the end of the day, like, can you imagine that kind of weight to carry? I need to know that you release such evil into the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that same evil like killed your best friend. Like,
exactly. Like that's
the thing.
He's already paying for it, and he's still paying for it. So like, oh, I don't like. I felt so bad for him too. I was just like, dude, like you're still paying for it because your best friend's gone now.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I will say, now there's a couple things that I wanna bring up from the scene, and I'm glad you brought this scene up, Will. There's a couple things I want to bring up. First of all, let's be very clear. We know that David Yost stayed behind to record Cosmic Fury. We do know that. Now, that leads me to think that he is still out here trying to work on his quest to find Zordon. And I think this might be a thing. I don't know. But I think that he is going to resurrect Zordon, but also at the same time, I also feel like he's definitely going to be that person, like that mentor that's going to like help the Rangers in Cosmic Fury. And I don't know why, but I feel like the death of Trini is going to help him to like be an influence to the Cosmic Fury Rangers in some kind of way. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how that's going to look, but I feel like something is going to happen and he's going to have to use what he dealt with Trini to help inform the Cosmic Fury Rangers on how to deal with whatever is going to happen to them. And something tells me it has something to do with Javi's on. I don't know why, but I'm just like putting little pieces together and I'm making shit up in my head because this is just stuff I want to see. But, but I definitely feel like this is going to have something like all this stuff. It's going to connect because you can tell like they're putting pieces together. Like they're trying to connect stuff. And because if you notice, like there's so many things in Cosmic Fury, not Cosmic Fury, in the 30th anniversary that are like literally informative and are like creating an entire world. Because look at the Pandora Protocol, for example. Like it had literally every city that the Power Rangers were in, which lets you know that this is a whole like universe. Like this isn't just one-off situations. I mean, we already knew that there were universes, but they're really making it prevalent that they are definitely involving other universes and other things and other people. So I really do believe that some shit gonna go down and Billy is gonna be the one that's gonna have to help them get through it. Like I don't know why I have that in my spirit, but I definitely feel like that's gonna happen. Like I'm just calling it. Like I actually sat there and thought about that shit. I'm like, I feel like they're gonna try to do some world building shit like that in Cosmic Fury because it's like they set up Cosmic Fury so well because they were just like, especially at the very end when Aisha, no, Adam, Adam asked him like, "Are you gonna, continue your traveling and stuff like that?" Because Cestria is asking about you, and he's like, "Oh, I got some stuff to do around here, but once I'm done, I'll go ahead and continue." I'm like, and then you're gonna run into the Cosmic Fury Rangers. Like, I feel like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
They definitely set up a lot of Easter eggs, even in the subtle ways that they were conversating with each other. And I am so stoked to see what's gonna happen. And I wonder if Min is gonna join him on those journeys.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Same here. Like, I would love to see Min.
Oh my God. I have a random thought. What if I know this is so far off, but what if Izzy's girlfriend, her family member happens to be Min, or like a distant cousin or something like that, or like she knows somebody, like Min is connected to her somehow.
That would mean that Trini is connected to Fern in some way, and that would also mean that Trini is yellow, and maybe allegedly Fern is orange. So that is a color. That is a shade of yellow.
Yeah,
well, a close shade of yellow.
I don't know, just because they made it clear that Min didn't have anybody left.
Just throwing it out there, because you also have to remember, right? Min came from somebody. It took two to tango.
Which is funny you say that. They never mentioned her dad. They just said she only had
a mom.
Trini.
Exactly.
And I think that is so beautiful and so smart because, and like I've seen a lot of people being like, well, who's the dad? Who's the dad? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, and who's to say that like honestly, I'm just gonna make up my own headcanon. Like, I think it was Richie and like something happened to him, and then it was just like Trini and Min by themselves.
Honestly, you know what could have easily even happened? Knowing the strong woman that Trini is, she probably woke up and said, "You know what? I want a freaking child, and I'm gonna go out there and get myself a child."
Period.
Like,
and that is okay.
Exactly. I mean, Lucy Liu did it. Like,
sure did.
You know, like that, and that's exactly what I thought. Well, like I didn't even think about the father aspect, but what I mean by like it took two to tango in the sense that it could be sperm donor. Maybe they find out that through sperm donor she has other relatives. Technically, yeah, she could have nobody left, but doesn't necessarily mean that she's not connected to the world. She's not connected to other people in some shape, way, or form.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I just don't think that they would go in that level, that depth of level to do anything like that. But like that's Power Rangers. They're not
right, exactly. And again, they could easily explain it by like, oh my God, it's like their long distant cousins that they didn't know about it. No, long lost distant cousin. That's always like the easy way to explain anything, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they can. I mean, obviously, they can do whatever they want,
Right.
but like that, they're just like, as far as like doing all like that extra stuff, like they would never do that because
Oh no, no,
they're
for
just Power
sure.
Rangers. They ain't doing none
No,
of
no, but it's true though. Yeah, but like
that.
going to everyone that's like all like, oh my god, who's her father? Like honestly, who freaking cares? At the end of the day, she could have really got out there and said, "I just want a child," and she got herself a goddamn child. Okay, like
Okay,
I'm just
but
saying. No,
it's
mhm.
the people who are all about like, oh, we have to be preaching good morals. Like,
Oh,
first of
shut
all,
up. We
single
all
parents
know.
exist.
Yeah,
Single
like
parents exist, and who knows? Like,
all the
Trini
time.
could have easily been like in a situation where she thought she was with the right one, got pregnant, she wasn't, because men are dogs, men are shitty, and they knocked her up and dipped out, and she just had me by herself.
Yeah,
Like, happens all the
There's so
time.
yeah.
many scenarios
So
that
many
could have
So
scenarios.
changed.
many scenarios.
But yeah,
Like,
so many scenarios. And so, but yeah,
dad could have died.
yeah.
Like,
But I guess
Yeah.
for
it
me,
could have been anything.
it's true.
Mhm.
But for me, my shortest thing is just it would be cool if there's some weird connection there, and that's all I'm saying. Whether how they're connecting, I don't know. Will like
I
that's where,
I have to say I think that it was very, very smart for them to do the 1 year time jump because I initially was wondering how they would have men deal with what happened to her mother. And I'm happy that we didn't have to watch the grief and like the fresh grief
Hmm.
outside of when she found out. And because I just felt like it wasn't for Power Rangers, they didn't need to do that. I just didn't. I think that that was a really smart decision to not do that and just, it's a year on. She's still she's coping, but like if she had to, act out the fresh grief, I don't think that it would have been as good.
no.
Well, no, honestly, no, I agree with that, but also too, like, let's just like, I think it also too is just smart on the writers as well,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like it is that, but also like, let's just be honest, the writers know their audience, they know who they're writing
Mhm,
to,
mhm,
and
mhm.
they know that the fandom would not have been able to process that. Like, literally, first of all, you're still dealing with a fandom that, and this is not me trying to be shady or mean at all, but the fandom is still dealing with people who cannot cope with the fact that Twee it has been going for almost 20 years. Like, they still can't
Over
cope with that.
20.
So it's like you're literally finally just now, like over 20 years later, just now, finally, like getting rid of the character Trini. It's like, and people are still to this day, 2023. Homegirl has passed away since 2021, 2001. It's 2023, and people are still like, this is disrespectful. Why would you do it? It's like, they got to know who they're writing to. So it was smart as hell for them to be like, nah, we gonna push this thing a whole year ahead, because we are not about to sit here and have this girl grieve over her mom at like in real time and have us actually watch that. Because like,
Mhm.
first of all, it like the fandom who are watching this would not have been able to process it. Like, they just wouldn't have been able to process it.
Mhm.
Also too, I don't know whether you talked about this earlier. I think you made mention, or about to make mention, I'm not sure, but I don't remember you saying it. But there's the whole thing of Simon Bennett tweeting, basically saying that, like, initially in a previous script, they had, instead of having Trini being vaporized, they had her like actually like a body laying there with a morpher, and it's like, once again, I think that it was just much smarter for them to
Yeah.
just have her be vaporized completely,
And apparently that was supposed to be a bigger blast, but they also like took that down too.
Yeah, like I mean, just chill, just like have her be vaporized. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like just do it like that because, like, once again, know your audience. That would not have went over well.
No,
It just wouldn't. Like it would not have went over well
no.
with this fandom. So it's just like I'm glad that they did what they did. And to me, like it was such a touchy thing because as we've seen before this, like there were people online who were just like so against showing Trini pass. Like they were just like so hell bent against it. Like they better not do this. They better not do that. And it's like they had no faith in these writers whatsoever. Like they were not going to have any coof or any tact in their writing whatsoever. Like they just assumed that they were going to be like out here just being reckless. And I'm like, you do know these are the same people that write and make their characters sound like 2-year-olds. Like they are extremely like meticulous about how they do certain things and how they write certain things. Like they are not about to be out here writing wild shit. Like that's just not how they're going to do this. Like no, like what are you talking about? Like I knew instantly, like when they were going to make it like, oh, Trini was going to get killed. I knew right then and there. I was like, they're not gonna fuck that up. They're not going. They would not dare screw up something like that on such a legendary character. Like she is a huge character in the fandom. Like they are not gonna fuck that over. They're not. Like they're just not. And they didn't. And I'm just like, I don't know what fans were expecting. And there's a lot of expectations with a lot of things that I felt, a lot of anxiety, a lot of expectations that a lot of people felt or lowered expectations that people were placing on the special and were just being like, oh, I just don't think it's going to be good or it's not going to be handled well or whatever have you, just from prior experiences, from specials not being as good or whatever have you. So a lot of people were just walking into this with so many mixed feelings of like, oh, this isn't going to be good, whatever, or oh, they're going to handle this badly or whatever have you. And it's like, I get the frustration and the apprehension, but also at the same time, like, let these people work. Like, like let these people do their jobs because, like, the way people were flipping out about that parked car, that flipped over car, like, and it ain't had nothing to do with Trini. Like that flipped over car was in a scene that had, first of all, two gays and gay men, which I was like, hell yeah, bring the gay. Yes, gay power. Absolutely. Yes, men is for gay rights. Absolutely. Men is out here saving the gays. Men has elevated herself for me, she has elevated herself to now top tier Power Ranger status. Men is like, she's up there. She is up there just from that. She saved the gays. Like, it's just she's legendary. Like, no, like Men is legendary. She is the Lady Gaga of Power Rangers. She is the Lady Gaga of Power Rangers. Like, she is mother. She is queen. I love her. Men, you rock. Fucking love you. But like I'm thinking, like she, even within that scene, like I'm just like, it had a flipped over car. People were flipping the fuck out over a flipped over car. Oh, it better not have anything to do with Trini. Come on, y'all. Y'all really think they're gonna be that tone deaf? Really? Y'all really think they're gonna be that tone deaf? I'm just saying, like like I'm not trying to like lick nobody's ass, but I do also feel like they weren't that stupid. Like they literally get accosted by fans on the daily for stupid shit. You really think they're gonna like fuck over something that big? Like I just didn't see it. But another thing that I noticed that that I thought was really cool, and I think you pointed it out, Will, was the crane scene.
Oh,
Catherine
right.
was like operating a crane, but it was just
Mhm.
like almost synonymous with like her having the crane power coin. So it's
Right.
like
Good for
I
mhm.
love that. Go ahead.
Yeah. For me initially, what got to me was the fact that the girl was operating the crane. I thought that was so cool. And then on the live that Kat did with Nakia, where she talked about the show, um, she had mentioned that they put that in there because she, like you said, she had the crane coin and she controlled the crane Zord, so a crane and a crane. But for me, it was all about just her doing that task. I love that they let her do that.
I that didn't even like phase me, honestly. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like
I
I wasn't
agree.
even like
Because you
that
know
didn't even
why?
phase me.
Because you know why? At least she's not out here breaking her ankles. See?
Mm-hmm.
No, and that's the thing that I actually wanted. I'm not gonna hold you. I listen. I know we joke a lot. I really do. I know we joke a lot. But damn it, I really did want her to twist her ankle. I did.
I
Like that
mean, she
scene
has.
that she fell and she shot what you call it with the pop, she shot the the little thing out of Minotaur's hand with her power bow. She shot the arrow. Like I just knew right then and there. I was like, she twisted her ankle. She twisted her ankle and fell. Oh my gosh! Like, but no, that's just something I made up in my head. But like, I just like, come on, like, give us an ankle twist because we all know Cat got
She has
weak
strong
ankles. Like,
parents.
we know this.
Well, they've obviously been strengthened over the last 25 years.
Have they?
She ain't falling this.
Listen, she did fall. She just didn't twist her ankle.
Well, she didn't hurt her damn leg this time.
And I wanted her to hurt her leg because that is cat energy. Like I fall, I twist my leg, and that's it. Like that is what she does. Like that is who she is. That is her character trait. That is
An-
her personality.
Another quick thing about the crane scene. She said that she didn't have really any formal training in that scene, and she actually was operating the crane like they had somebody show her how to do it, but she didn't have like any extensive training. And I think it was Walter David and Steve. They literally were like right there. So it's exactly how it looked on screen was actually how it was, which Nakia pointed out that sounds dangerous. But they
Hell
did it.
yeah, because one wrong move, she could have killed somebody. Like seriously, like she hit the wrong thing. That thing could have came flying right down and killed somebody, like real fast. So they definitely put some trust into into her. All right, now listen. She said, "Y'all can trust me. I got this." I love it. Listen,
See, I
let me
told
tell
you.
y'all
She
something.
did not break her ankle, and she out here be operating a whole ass crane when she shouldn't be. She's giving all the vibes, you know, like she's out there being the strong ass woman that she deserves to be.
Listen, I'm here
Mm-hmm.
for it.
Hmm.
I'm
And I
here
love
for it.
that.
Like,
I real quick, I
mhm.
love that she came up with the idea of using the crane that had the magnet attached to it. Because she was like, wait a minute, those monsters are made of metal. I have an idea, and then that helped.
Yeah, yeah. Like, listen, y'all say what y'all want, but people be forgetting that Cat is actually smart. Like, Cat is actually really smart. Like, go back to season 3. Like, Homegirl literally like saved the Rangers. Like, literally, what 2 fights after she became the Pink Ranger? Like, her and Billy literally created a device that turned the Rangers back from bricks to humans again. Like, and it was only because of the fact that Cat knew that pollution breaks down bricks. Like, homegirl smart as shit. So like, let's be for real. Like, Billy is the tech and he is the genius, but y'all don't sleep on Cat. Because Cat just ain't a pretty girl. Like, she's smart too. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm just like, kudos to the writers because they were on it. Like they were definitely on it.
She was the person that understood Billy's tech babble this in this special.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So I was with it. Like I was like, oh, like got you. So Cat is the next smart one. Got it. Okay. I'm here for it.
It
I'm here
wasn't gonna
for
be
it.
Rocky.
Oh, now don't do that. Rocky was out here. Now, what I will say is Rocky, low key but high key, Rocky was out here pulling the stunts though. Like whoever Rocky's stunt double was, they made him look good. Okay? They made him look good. Because that little piece of scene where he flipped over Snitcher's head and kicked him in the back of the head, that shit was fire. I was like, oh, and then him stabbing freaking Minotaur and blowing his ass up. Bitch, you couldn't tell me Rocky wasn't out here like y'all used to be roasting me. I'ma show y'all motherfuckers I'm good. Like Rocky was handling his business.
There, speaking of stabbing, there was so much stabbing in this. Like it was.
Stabbing, headshots, like
Mhm,
Muggs was getting decked
mhm.
in the face. Like
Yeah.
the stunts in
Uh,
this shit, they weren't holding back. It was giving Turbo vibes.
God, Walter did a freaking toe touch kick. Like that shocked me.
At
That
50,
still
this
had
mug is
Limper.
out here doing toe touches.
Did the backflip like he did in the first episode. And he his hip hop keto brought that back and literally was breakdance fighting. Like that was, oh man.
Breakdance fighting. I'm like, look at this. Like, I'm telling you, like, they did that. Now, I will say, now, hold on now. Nah, no tea, no shade. But let's talk about this little piece of scene at the juice bar. Now, I did thoroughly enjoy men trying to morph. And Charlie did her thing with the stunts. Like, Homegirl was
Mhm,
stunting it
mhm.
up. Like,
Yeah.
she was killing it. Okay. Here's my thing, right? When the other Rangers came to save her, why they just had Rocky just be out here tossing fools and punching. Like they made Rocky look so stiff. I'm like, I know Steve. He may not can do a little piece of split no more, but damn, like y'all really just had Steve out here just doing Taibo exercises. And I'm like, I'm not here for that. Like y'all could have had that man do a little something. Like I was so disappointed with that from Steve. Because I was just like, Steve used to be like, now of course he's not 20 anymore, but damn, I'm like, now of course he did do the same move that tossed his ass out the ring. When he kicked
Well,
them putties,
he mastered it now.
right? Well, he better, after all
Yeah.
them years, he better master it. That shit threw his ass out the whole ring, made him break his back. Shit. But no, like that shit, I was like, what? Like, come on. Y'all could have let Steve do a little more. Y'all could let him do a little more.
Man, you want to talk about somebody doing more? Like Lena said this earlier. Like, what the hell was that? Johnny and Karen cameo. Like, You had Johnny Young Bosch there, and he didn't do nothing.
Now, I will say that to me, like, and I wanted to say this earlier, that did not bother me, and the reason why
Oh,
is because you can kind of almost tell that it was a last minute thing. Like not really a last minute thing, but it was like a thing that they were like they had to like put in there. Because
mhm.
honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. That was one of the things that really just kind of felt like, why is this here? Because it didn't need to be there. If those scenes did not pop up, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered because there was nothing in those scenes aside from them giving them the idea to use the things to turn them invisible. There was nothing in that scene that contributed to anything.
Remember when we felt like Karen was kind of added in last minute too? Like we had that suspicion.
Who?
Mm-hmm. Karen.
Karen.
Who?
Karen.
Oh
Karen.
yeah.
Yeah. Remember like we were speculating through our chats, like at some point we were like, we know we had our own theories as to why she wasn't there, and we weren't sure if she was gonna come back. And then at
Yeah.
some point she obviously confirmed that she was going back. We're like, oh, okay, like maybe one of our theories were right. We don't know, like maybe that's the reason why. They
Maybe I don't
added
know. I
last
mean,
minute.
like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was even a last. Like, she was at a last minute, or both of them were at a last minute. I don't know, but it just kind of
True.
feels like the
True.
scene itself just were kind of like they just kind of felt like last minute additives.
Oh yeah,
Like,
definitely, definitely. They
so that's
definitely.
why I was just like, it didn't bother me too much.
I think. I think I was just sort of like, how would I say this? I think for me, I'm thinking of the storyline more so like in real time, in my time. Like if I came all this way and basically I missed all the action, I would be slightly pissed. I'd be like, what the fuck?
I mean,
I'm just I'm just
if
saying,
Johnny,
like it's great that the world's safe, but really, like I traveled through space to come to you all, and
oh, oh,
and
you
you guys
meant
are
the story wise,
yeah, the
not that.
storylines, right? Like I felt like what the heck? Like, I feel like Aisha wasn't giving the Aisha vibe, She wasn't giving her typical attitude vibe where she's like, what the heck? Like, it was just very like, oh, it's okay. It's okay that we missed it. I was like, no, it's not
I
okay.
mean, she grown now.
I
I guess
guess.
she mellowed out.
I guess.
Not mellowed out.
I guess.
Damn, I really oh my goodness. I want so you know what? I was gonna save this for later, but fuck it. Oh man, so the Power Rangers world and universe, as we knew, but this further confirms it. It's so large.
Mhm.
So it like they left this so open ended. We don't really know what SPA is because they've never said what it is. Like
Right.
we have our speculations on what it is, but I'm thinking so much. I'm thinking one thing that I was thinking about was why the hell were the original six together, still with their powers and fighting? And we know Amy Jo has a comic coming out next year. I wonder if maybe that'll be a tie-in. Maybe um the open-ended ending that we got with Billy going to Aquatar and all of the Rangers that were captured, they're going to heal up there. Um, I feel like after seeing this, I want to see like more specials, like not even just MMPR, but like mixing it together like with other seasons. And the fact that this is doing well right now, is number 3 on Netflix. As of right now, it has been all day. Like, who knows?
Yeah. Like, I mean, that to me, that is like definitely, hopefully, the sign that Netflix needs to be like, this is a thing. Like, this is something that obviously people want to see, people want to get into. And also, it could open the door for so much more um, original content. Us actually creating, um, our own stories that aren't Super Sentai related, where they need Super Sentai footage or anything like that. Like they have their own thing. Um, and that literally will probably push us to start creating our own, like our own teams, our own whatever, and really just like make the brand itself, like give it that separation that we've all been kind of like thinking was going to happen, like kind of make that separation more realized.
And I was thinking like if they did introduce or I guess reintroduce actors from other seasons, that could be a way of, I guess, getting recognition for some of the other seasons that are out there. Because there's characters that they have a lot of like meat to them that like hasn't been explored. Because like certain characters they can only get so much because it's an ensemble cast. Every season, unfortunately, doesn't. We're not lucky enough to get equal focus. It's kind of rare. So, oh my God, the idea of them, obviously having somebody from MMPR to like, hook the fans in, but then to give some development to somebody from, I don't know, they mentioned Marinoy, if they brought back some Galaxy Rangers, or they captured Ashley, if they did something within space. We got a Tanya cameo, and we know Nakia
Child,
will be
that
here for
actually
that.
irritated me.
When I saw that, I literally laughed and I was like, I bet you Brendan and Will are either gonna love it or hate it.
I hated
I
it.
actually loved it.
I hated it. I
And
hated it with a passion.
we know that she would come back, so maybe we could see her again. Maybe they do something with Zio. Like there's so many options. Oh, another thing that Kat had mentioned in that live was when they did the appearance at the Grove on Monday, which Brandon was that?
Mm-hmm.
Um she either spoke to or she got wind of the Netflix people and the Hasbro people being pleased and pleasantly surprised by the turnout, because there were a lot of people that came out. So I think that there were a lot of surprises for the big brass this week. From the how well this is doing on Netflix to, the social media attention it's getting, and then to physically have a bunch of fans come out, just to celebrate this. So like oh man, like this, damn, this could be what we've really been waiting for, as far as like kind of a lightning rod to get some attention paid to our franchise finally.
Like, here's the thing for me, right? Like, it does kind of make me a little salty because, like, Netflix should obviously know that Power Rangers carries weight. In some ways, in some ways, like they should obviously know this, because it's like, you know, I don't know, like there's a literal convention of like legit Power Rangers, like where people like literally will show up to like a Comic Con. Like it is literally like Power Morphin Con is like a Comic Con event.
Mhm.
So it's like people will turn out for Power Rangers. If you say the cast is doing something like a meet and greet or whatever have you, and Netflix is sponsoring, like they're going to turn out, especially if it's for something like the 30th anniversary. Like it's going down. So sometimes I just feel like these companies like Netflix, they really do they really have their opinions on how they see the franchise. Like they really do have their opinions and they really do have their way of being like they really don't think we ain't shit. Like I'm just gonna say the thing, like they really think that we ain't shit. Which partly like they are right. Like, like it's not the franchise that it's not the franchise that it used to be, like back in the 90s. Like it's not that anymore. But damn, like I really do be feeling like these companies are kind of disrespectful to Power Rangers. Like they like they ain't shit. Like I ain't worrying about these people. They ain't gonna turn out. And when we do, they get shocked. Like, oh shit. People actually do care about this thing. Yes. Like, I'm sorry, where have you been? Like, yes, people will turn out for this. What are you talking about? Like, meeting the cast is a 30th anniversary. Like, what are you talking about? Like, of course, people are going to turn out for it. So it's just stuff like that for me. Just, I don't know. It's just so odd that, these people are sitting there in their boardrooms like, didn't know they would do that. Hmm, interesting. I'm surprised. Surprised that they showed up for this. Huh. Like, of course they would. What you talking about? You know? So I don't know. Like that just always kind of just bothered me in general. It's just like, all right, y'all. Like, I need y'all to have a little more faith in the Power Ranger franchise, like just a little bit more. Like, I mean, we're not at DC or Marvel yet, but give us a little bit. Look, give us a bone. Like, just give us a little leeway. Like, come on now. But yeah, like I do agree. Because I was at the event. I was at the event. I covered it, and it was me. I want to say Andre, the black nerd. He was there. My friend Danielle, she was there. Just like a whole bunch of people that I knew were there, and we were standing out. It wasn't hot for a little bit, but then all of a sudden the sun started coming out, and it was like, oh God. But yeah, I was like, I felt so bad for the stunt people because I was like, fuck, I know they're burning up. But just being able to like see everything and see them throw this event together as fast as they did was really freaking cool. Like they threw it together really fast, but you couldn't tell. You could not tell. So yeah, like it was really cool.
I loved it when Ming got hit. And it was almost like the morpher protected her.
Oh, oh
And
my
like
God.
and like she got to see the memories. Oh, that was so beautiful.
That was the second time I cried.
Oh, honestly, I cried the whole entire freaking episode. I just kept crying. I had to pause it because I couldn't see from all my goddamn like teary eyed. Like it was just I was like, I'm a hot freaking mess. I cannot be watching this right now. I started the episode like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, hey, I'll watch until I'm ready to go to work, like do my thing. Oh my God. I was crying until my eyes were red when I left for work. It was ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
I watched before work.
Damn.
Oh,
Oh man, that and then of course the last scene back. Oh,
Oh
Mm.
yeah.
That was so
Yeah.
beautiful. Mm-mm-mm.
That took me out. That last scene, I was like, how dare you? Like, that's when I lost it. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I literally lost it on that scene because the first one, I got a little choked up when, I heard Trini's voice being like, and I'm like, no, don't do this to me. Like, and I knew exactly what scene that came from, too. It came from literally the second episode of her being
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Billy, you're too high.
yeah.
But
Um,
like I was like, oh my God. But then like the next scene that got me was that scene where Min
Oh,
got shot.
yeah,
And then like she opened her eyes and you see like Tweet. And I'm like,
oh.
yeah.
and she's like, Mom. And I'm like, no, no, no.
And then, like, obviously, like, right before we saw Kimberly singing, like, actually singing, I heard her voice. I'm like, oh my God, it's Kimberly. And then
Mm-hmm.
obviously it panned, and I was
Right.
like, oh my God, this is the song.
And then
Yes.
right at the end, we get, the little tribute to Twee and JDF, and the tears continued.
Yes,
No, for real.
yes. Like, I don't know, the whole thing. Like, and I was telling my sister about the episode, and I started crying. And I'm like, she's like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, I can't be crying. I'm driving. This is horrible.
Girl,
Yeah.
lost it, especially on that ending.
Oh my
Because
God.
I'm like, not y'all paused it right when Tweet looks up. I'm like, oh,
I was
just
like, no,
bawling. I'm like,
no.
y'all are not fair for this. Like, this is not
Uh,
okay.
it was like I said, like, I know there are people that don't like it as much as we did, and that's fine. Because for me, it literally did everything it had to do. It tied it all together, and everything was well explained. But I do have a question though. After Kim
Mhm.
gave Kat the power, I know she says Pink Ranger power, but she never said pterodactyl, like, ever.
No,
Yeah, that was
because
her first time ever using the pterodactyl coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
So my
the
question is like,
Dino co-
what
the
happened? I'm
Dino
sorry.
coin, they didn't have them. She had the Ninja coin, the Crane coin.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
by the time that Cat came along, like the Dino coins had been
No, no,
destroyed at
no.
the
No,
of
no, that explains it. I couldn't remember the storyline.
Mhm.
I was like, really? She never. Then I was like, oh, now that you say, I'm like, right,
Well,
you're right.
they weren't destroyed.
Damaged.
They were damaged. They were never destroyed, and I think that's what is getting a lot of people like fucked up. Is that like a lot of people are just like, well, the Dino powers were destroyed. They were never destroyed. The ninja powers were destroyed.
Those were, yeah, they were
Specifically,
crushed
they were
and
the ones
old
that were
dust.
destroyed. Yeah, they were the ones that were gone. It's the dino powers that weren't ever destroyed and they were more damaged. So it would make sense, especially for like if Adam still had his broken morpher, like it could be reconstructed in some way because
That thing
obviously if
probably been reconstructed by now. The way
no,
that
I'm sure.
Rangers be morphing. He
Exactly.
probably, I wonder
Like
if
I
he gave it
mean
to Zach.
Exactly. Like he could have, or even that same broken morpher that he had could have been reconstructed by the by that
Cranston, Cranston,
Cranston Tech.
yeah,
no,
Cranston,
I was talking about what's that guy's name from Operation Overdrive when he gave him his powers
Sentinel,
back for the special?
Mr. Harbert,
Sentinel
Harvard.
No, the
Knight, right?
gold dude.
I can't say.
Sentinel. Yes, Sentinel
Sentinel
Knight.
Knight.
Like Sentinel Knight could have redid his morpher and fixed it. So it's just like, there's plenty of things that could have like fixed the Mighty Morphin powers, but for sure the Dino powers were never like gone officially. Like they were just damaged.
Mm-hmm. Um, I really liked that we got a little updates for our returning Rangers. Zach is a congressman, and I remember I believe it was Go-Go. We saw that he wanted to be the comic for people that don't know. that he was interested in politics. But then I also am wondering if the Omega Rangers didn't happen in the main continuity. If it was him going to the peace conference that maybe brought this about. Um, and then of course Cranston Tech, Billy has his own tech company, and it's so cool. Underneath his tech company, the headquarters is a new command center.
Yep. Like Billy is out here like, nah, like we just gonna go ahead and we gonna reconstruct everything.
I'm laughing.
We are going to redo everything. I don't care. I don't care.
I'm laughing at Lena's reaction to the stunt people from Once and Always.
So a little bit about that.
At least
So
not in blackface.
this is true. He's not. But also, okay, so we're looking at pictures of um Zach, Walter, Catherine, and Steve stunt doubles for Once and Always. And Zach's stunt double is definitely an Asian man. He's not in blackface, but he is an Asian man with a fro and facial hair like Walter. And this is killing my soul. Oh, this is great. This is wonderful. I just
Who the hell
want
is this person in the white robe and the gold stuff?
that is the person that I wanted to talk about. So that person is so I posted a picture of King Orden from Cure Major. If they find Zordon and Zordon looks like this motherfucker
Oh, wow.
when he's reconstituted, like when he's like reconstructed and put back together, I will gag. I will gag because I highly doubt that unless they just find another bald headed person to like do green screen with and like put their face behind a tube, this would be the perfect thing to do.
You think they would just use well, at least for voice, you think that they would just use David Feldman since he's the only living Zordon?
I would hope. I would hope they would. I mean, he's right there. You know, like he's literally right there. Just go ahead and use that man. Like he's right there. Just go ahead and call David Feldman. Be like, hey, go ahead and do it. I guess for me, my overall sentiment of this whole thing, and I said this on Facebook, but I could definitely reiterate it. My thing is, for me, this special does a great job at capturing just the nostalgic feeling of MMPR for the adult fans, but also
Absolutely, yes.
like it appealed to newer fans as well. And I feel like it did such a great job at that. Just from everything, from the way everything looked, the updated feel, but it still had that nostalgic feeling. Because one thing I definitely will say, I appreciate the more I look at those suits that they used for the special, the more I'm like, oh, y'all did this for the one too. Like I see what you did. The more I'm looking at those suits and the more I'm looking at everything and the choices they made. Because at first I was even questioning why in the hell did when Min morphed into the Yellow Ranger, why did she look so bulky? Like I was questioning the fuck out of that. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, why does she look like that? But then I was like, no, Brandon, think of the overall like concept of everything. Because when you think about it, men like Charlie is tiny, just like Tweet. And when you think of, and then when she morphed, she became a bulky looking, Japanese stuntman. So is it not to reason that like that would be the same thing that would happen to men? Like it's just one of those things where it's like, I see what you're doing. Like, for example, the thick necks on the suits. Like that is such an American Mighty Morphin moment. Like that only happened in the American scenes where they wore them thick ass turtlenecks.
Right.
That only happened in Power Rangers. So it's like the fact that they threw that in there, like they did so many things that was just so reminiscent to MMPR in the 90s. Like just so many things that were just like reminiscent to that, and then added their own spin, their own updated feel to it. To me, they knocked it out of the park. Like for a 30th anniversary, the decisions that they made, I couldn't have asked for anything more. I think that what they did was just absolutely just, yeah, certain things could have been better, but overall, like to say, oh, this deserves no lower than lower than like an 8. Like I honestly, if I had to rate it out of 10, like I would go no lower than an 8, no lower. But the highest I would give it is a 9, but no lower than an 8. But of course we rate by 5s. But if I were going by 10, it would be an 8. But by 5, I would definitely give it a 4. Plain and simple. Like, I mean, it gave us exactly what we needed. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't. But it gave us what we needed. It satisfied some things. It wrapped up some things. It touched on things and handled things very well. Like nothing was egregious to the point where it made me go, oh, hell nah. No, hell nah. They definitely fucked that up. No. Not one time did they ever do that in this whole entire special. And I watched it like 100 times already. And I cannot find one thing that made me go, oh, hell nah. Like I can't believe they did that. Like, no. Like everything was done with care. And I'm still floating. Like, even after I've watched it several times, like I'm still like, this is something that I could watch like years from now and still appreciate.
Yeah,
so,
I feel like this is going to be like a new comfort watch.
Yeah. Anybody else? How y'all rate it? What y'all think?
I would also give it a 4. This was a beautiful tribute for Trini and Thuy Trang. I loved that we were introduced to a really cool new character in Min, and I hope that we see her again.
You rhymed.
and it this, oh man, it just so perfectly encompassed what MMPR was all about. And then it also was definitely for us. It was for everybody, but it was definitely for us. I love that they amped up the violence. They amped up the stakes. Rita was actually quite evil. Like, she was like Queen Bansheera evil.
Like, she was trolling the fuck out of them. Like, she was constantly taking jabs. Like, I'm gonna do you like you did, like I did your friend. Like, come on, Rita.
Yeah.
Or like the whole thing, like, I know, the death running into the family or whatever it was.
She said something like, I've never killed the same person twice.
When she said that, I had to pause. I was like, wait, what? Then I was like, oh.
Yeah, right.
I was like, Rita, you dark. You dark.
Yeah.
Like, Rita, you a whole ass. Like,
I appreciated it. Like, the special was still Y7, just like Power Rangers has always been. But they realized that, hey, you can have some darkness and actually show evil, show a little more violence, and kids can still watch it. So I hope they stick to this idea going forward. But oh man, hearing the actual voices of some of those old Rangers that weren't able to be in the special was really that really was nice. And to just see these characters again after so many years and to see them as adults and see them, they've grown and they have things going on for themselves. I would love to delve more into that at some point. But I felt so good watching it. I watched it a second time before we recorded, and I loved it. So number four is my rating.
Wow, I'm surprised it's a 4 for you. It's a 5 for me. I
yes.
loved it. It did all the things. My only complaint is that it wasn't long enough.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because Lena wanted everything under the kitchen sink, honey.
Yeah. I absolutely sure did. You know what? The way I see is that we waited 30 years for this. So,
yeah.
and I'm glad that I avoided everything up until now. I'm glad that like even the stuff that we did kind of see, and don't get me wrong, I was still upset I got all those behind the scenes and all that jazz. I wanted still to be, and I was very surprised. I was very surprised by how surprised I was, but I really wanted to go in there completely blind. And nonetheless, they did an excellent job at not ruining the surprise, and it was really good. I think obviously, like I think towards like the release date, someone finally figured out that Mid might be the Yellow Rangers then, and we kind of knew when Mid was brought up. I was like, she's probably gonna be the Yellow Ranger. Like certain things was sort of like a giveaway without them saying anything. And again, I don't obviously maybe it's their way of promoting it. However, whatever they were doing, they're obviously doing a great job. Because I remember Will sent us something or was in the chat about Catherine and Nikita doing a live where they were saying that they didn't expect Hasbro to expect the event at the Grove to be as big as it was. Like, and they never promote their shows the way they did with this one. And honestly, like it deserved all the things that it got, and I'm glad it got the promotion it did. I'm just sad I wasn't in LA that weekend when it happened. Like shit. Like what? What the shit is this? But a solid 5 out of 5. I definitely would have loved a mini series. Even like an 8 episode. It doesn't even have to be like an hour long. It could be like anywhere between 25 to 45 minutes. I would take it gladly. I would love to see Rita's master plan. I would love to see the behind the scenes. What happened to Vinster? Like there's so many questions I want to know. Like she was evil. Like she's so evil. She came through, and like, how did she know? Like, I would love to see her. Being that before she came back to the body. Like, did she know that Billy was building this? Did she sense it? Like I have so many questions. I would have loved to see a bit more. But a solid 5.
No, I'm with you on that. Like, there are certain things that I was like, I definitely wanted to get a little more of for what they could do. Like, I just felt like there was just nothing, like anything else they would have done in this whole entire special. I think that it would have been overkill if they would have tried to like do anything else in that 55 minutes. Like I do agree that if they wanted to go into deeper depths of explanation, it would have definitely needed to have been a miniseries. But just overall, just to kind of like save themselves the time and budget, um, just to save themselves, I think that was probably the smartest thing to do, just to kind of like, save themselves from like digging themselves into a hole that they couldn't get out of. Because also too, running the risk of over explaining things also like kind of almost turns it into a Neo Saban type situation. Like what we talked about earlier, where it was just kind of like, now we're acting like, oh, is that Swiper in the back? Say Swiper, no swiping. Like, it just runs the risk of like turning it into that, which everything about this special felt so smart. And it was almost giving real, if you know kind of vibes. And overall, for me, it just like, for the most part, it did it. I didn't really miss anything from it. Like, there was nothing that I needed that was like, ooh, they needed to explain this more, or they needed more of this. I did see more people talk about the whole SPA thing, but even for me, that was even kind of like, whatever. Like, I mean, they're not there. Okay, whatever. Like, it didn't for me. I didn't need that for the story to be better. Like, for them to explain what SPA is, it's like, girl, they said Truebian. Like, obviously this has something to do with SPD. So I'm like, maybe it's a different faction of SPD or something. I don't know. The point is, they in it. And they're like, it took them 6 hours to get there. So it was obvious that they were like, we ain't gonna participate in this fight, but we'll gladly help you when it's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't got time for that shit. So it was just like, okay, cool. No skin off my back. So I don't know. Like, everything about it, just for me, I was just like, I'm good. I'm satisfied. I ate. I'm full. I'm not gonna hold y'all. This has been, I know for me, I have been so excited to talk about this special, and I just hope that you guys, are just as excited, and you tell us what you guys thought about it. I mean, I'm not gonna hold you. Like, this has been a long time coming, and I know everybody has their own expectations. Everybody has their own things that they wish could have happened, blah, 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 blah. But overall, like, tell us what you think. Do you think it's, do you think it's, do you think it was a great special? Do you think that, things could have been done differently or whatever have you? Like, let us know. Like, let us know in the comment section. Let us know what you think. And yeah, like, once again, you can follow us on linktr.ee/Traveling with the Grid. Has all of our links there, our personal links, our SoundCloud, our YouTube. Wherever you are listening to us, we thank you. Like, subscribe, do all the things. And yeah, we are out of here. My name is Brandon.
My name is Lena.
And my name is Will.
And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.